Agit Kabayel set for Germany homecoming with autumn show in the works. Riyadh season star Agit Kabayel looks set for a Germany homecoming this autumn. His promoter Frank Warren told The Ring, "We would like to put on an event in Germany this autumn, and he would be the headline fight. He's proven himself as a very exciting fighter with good hand speed, a good boxer who can also fight when he needs to. We've got something in mind for him in terms of his opponent, and he is in a good position. There are lots of good fights out there for him. It will be Warren and Queensbury's first foray." This is The Ring now talking, "into promoting in Germany for nearly 40 years, following a number of shows there alongside Universal." Warren added, "It has been a while, but I promoted and worked there with Peter Cole and Universal years ago. There were loads of fights back and forth. I really enjoyed it, and we had some good wins there. That was back in the late 80s, early 90s, but maybe it's time to go back now. We might put a few of our guys on the undercard, but otherwise we will look to give opportunities to German fighters." Now, I wasn't aware that Agit Kabayel was a Frank Warren fighter. I knew he was managed by Spencer Brown, and Spencer Brown and Frank Warren are very, very close. But whatever, he's a Frank Warren fighter. Maybe I've forgotten about it in the lead up to the Zheli Zhang fight, because Zheli Zhang's obviously a Frank Warren fighter as well. So Frank Warren really does own the heavyweight division, other than Alexander Usyk and one or two others. It's interesting who Agit Kabayel is going to fight next, because speaking of Joseph Parker, a lot of people would like to see him fight, the guy from New Zealand. That would be an interesting one. Would Joseph Parker be able to withstand the body attack of Agit Kabayel? Would Kabayel be able to deal with the experience, the movement, the sharpness, the toughness of Joseph Parker? It's an intriguing matchup, but I don't think Parker's particularly keen on fighting Kabayel. I don't know whether Kabayel wants to fight Parker or not. I've got no idea. But both of these guys are interim champions. So it could be a case of both guys looking to preserve and maintain their position, the position they've fought hard for. And again, I keep saying I've got no issue with that. If you work your way up to basically mandatory challenger, which is what essentially a interim champion is, just a glorified mandatory. If you work your way up to that position, you don't have to take any more risks before you get your title shot, as far as I'm concerned. You can just sit on it, stay busy fights, do your thing until the mandatory gets called. Maybe both of these guys will want to do that. Obviously, from a fan perspective, it's appreciated when a interim champion or a mandatory challenger does want to risk their position, but I won't begrudge them when they don't, because when one of them decides to do such a thing, like Joe Joyce, for example, fighting Zhang when he was mandatory, he loses, and then the public turn around and say, what a stupid thing for him to do. Do you know what I mean? You were mandatory or interim champion. You could have just waited for your shot against Usyk instead. You wanted to take on this style that was all wrong for you when you didn't have to. Why do that? So, yeah, same thing with Kabayel and Parker. I got no issue with them sitting on their positions. And in the meantime, Kabayel taking it back to Germany and fighting some, let's say, less than A+ opponent, potentially. We shall see. The thing is, Kabayel has emerged as a dark horse in Riyadh season. He had those wins over Arslanbek Makhmudov, Frank Sanchez, and most recently against Zheli Zhang, who was also kind of emerged as a bit of a star on Riyadh season with his knockout over Deontay Wilder. Is Kabayel like a football team that plays better away from home? Because whenever I've seen Kabayel fight in Germany, he hasn't looked that good. Even when he fought years ago, and that was away from home, against Derek Chisora in Monaco. Okay, he got the win, running around the ring, but he didn't look that good. Certainly never came close to stopping Chisora the way he stopped his last three opponents with the body shots and whatnot. Or maybe it's just a case of he's a lot better now because he's developed and it's not so much about the location. But there are certain fighters who perform better away from home, presumably because they don't have the pressure of a hometown crowd. See, some fighters thrive on a hometown crowd and they fall to bits when they don't have that type of support in the arena. Whereas other fighters are the other way around. They thrive when there's no pressure on them, when everybody in the crowd is booing them. That's when they feel most comfortable. So is Agit Kabayel a guy who performs better in front of a home crowd, or worse in front of a home crowd? That's the question. What do you guys think in the chat? And Throw some names out there. Who would you like to see Agit Kabayel fight